Hello, welcome back. Hopefully you just fall. Okay. I wanted to start working on farming this stuff. So I think I might have a need for the glass soon. The, what's called tinted glass. So I want to play around with some ways we could do it. I have seen some approaches to some farms for this. I also remember when it first came out, I saw some videos. So there's some things I want to test myself. What I'm looking for in a farm here isn't necessarily for it to be quick, but just that it can be passively happening all the time. So I'm going to be very careful not to break these ones, the budding ones. The rest of them I'm going to break. I'm going to try to be very careful because they break very quickly, especially with efficiency 5 and our haste 2 beacon. It might even be wise to not use this pick when working in here, but I am anyway. So yeah, we also have there's other ones in the area. I think there's at least 3 other ones other than this one, maybe even 4. So if we set up all of them, and they're all trickling some stuff around, maybe this is one we add into the sorter. So I think there's 1 over in that direction, and there's 2 over in this direction. So it could be a way to collect them items, is just have them fall into a water stream and get piped over into our sorting system and get packed up in shulkers. I don't know how many of this we need. I haven't actually made the tinted glass yet, so I don't know how much it takes. You might hear my mouse because I'm very tapping it to try to only break 1 block. But let me clear out this. We can test some things out. Yeah, there's one right there as well. I forgot about that one. We have 2 in the immediate area. I'm going to leave the banner there for now. I think I did break one. Not sure. Either that or I broke the crystal. But one of these fell. I don't know if it's because I broke the block that was holding it, or I broke it very quickly. See, we missed an area for lighting. Okay. Let's begin. See what kind of area we're dealing with. Alright, so if one falls, it should fall in this area. This one would land outside of that. In terms of what kind of platform we might need to catch everything, if we just let things drop. And that's if they fall straight down. Okay. So some things I want to test is if observers detect them growing, which I think they do. But I would like to confirm that. And if we just put a piston, a block, oops, do that in a different order. Now put the block. Oh, if it grows again, we should detect that. I also want to check, can you harvest it with a piston? Which I also think is true, but I think it has to be full grown. And you can't harvest it as you would with Silk Touch. So if I Silk Touch this, I would get the crystal, but if I piston it, I should get the shards, I think. Yes. And how many? 2. Well, clearly I broke the crystal then last time, right? Because if I broke the block, it would have dropped these. So I must have struck the cluster with my pick. Okay. Now I think you get more if you use Fortune. So I have Fortune here. Whoa. A lot more. We got 12. It's incredible. So a manual farm might be good for that if we want. I've seen people create like basically a room full of water. Let's try that again. So we have 14. So that time we got 8. 12, 8. Okay. However, I mean, that means we have to be there. So even if we're only getting 2 at a time, the fact that it will harvest automatically means we should get more in the long run. So what I was thinking of possibly doing is try to detect the growth cycle of some of these, knowing that they're not all going to grow at the same time. I thought maybe if we, assuming they do detect, we're still waiting for confirmation on, but if we observe, say, this one, and I don't know, this one, oops. If we get a sampling, we can observe 3 or 4 out of the bunch. We don't have to observe all of them. And then we can create some kind of system that will trigger once they're all grown up. So I was thinking we could do that with, there's some kind of dropper or hopper system, like to create a counter. Okay, so I think there's 4 stages of growth. So if that is correct, and let's say we're monitoring the, I can already see a flaw in my thinking here, but let's say we're monitoring 3. So for 3 of them to grow, we're going to get 12 updates, basically. So these observers should pulse 4 times each. And if we connect all those up to an AND gate, such that once all of them have detected a growth and gone off 4 times, then that will trigger the harvesting of all of them. So instead of trying to observe each crystal and pop it off individually once it's fully grown, we'll take a little sampling, and maybe 3 isn't enough. Maybe we should do 4 or 5, I'm not sure. Another alternative is we could hook up each one of these to their own counter. Because I could see, like, my idea is when this triggers, it would be equivalent to me pressing this button, which has moved one item into the hopper. And this will output a signal until all these items get moved over. 2, 1, so let's say this last detection will mean that there's 3 crystals that are fully grown. This comparator will go off because the contents are empty. They'll all be locked away here. So it will trigger a harvest and it will reset this counter somehow. It'll return all these items back into here and it would be ready to harvest again. Now if by chance 2 crystals grow at the same time and they blend one signal in, or 2 signals into one signal, then we could reach a situation where you know, we're not able to get rid of all the items. All 3 of these would be fully grown, yet they're not going to give out any more pulses, so we'll just sit here idle. I don't know how likely that would be. We could just not worry about it and see if it happens. Or we could have each one of these have their own little counter of 4. And once they all, let's say, get inputted, something like this could work, I think. So I've got 4 items in each of these. And we would hook up, we'd observe 1 cluster, or whatever these are called. And when it fires off 4 times, which I can simulate with the button press again, because as of right now, this hasn't grown once. And I'm not sure if there's something that prevents Sig from growing, other than there a block being there. But so if this gets triggered 4 times, it should drain this, although it's not. Is this thing's being butted? What's going on? Oh, no? Okay, it was being butted by having a solid block diagonal. Was messing it up. Okay, so let's say this one detected 4th growths of a crystal, and it's now moved all of its items over. So this line is powered off, but we have a bit of an AND gate going on here. So in order for this torch to turn on, I need all 3 of these to be drained. So if the 2nd crystal did it, if the 3rd one... Yeah, getting some weird budding going on with that. The first triggers didn't work. So there we go. And that would harvest, and then we'd need this to also trigger like a reset cycle. So we could take a signal off of this torch, let's say, and that could trigger our reset, whatever that would be. It would result in this line being unpowered. And I think that's about it. Once this is unpowered, the items would go back in. The piston would retract, waiting for more growth cycles. Nothing has to change with the observers. And we just need this to turn back on again. So we just need to shut this off temporarily. And then we should be okay. Again, a problem could arise if after the piston retracts. I think what we want to make sure is that the piston stays powered until this is reset, so that a crystal can't grow between the time that the piston is retracted and the system is still resetting. So however long it takes this 4 items to move through a hopper, which I can calculate later, because I don't know off the top of my head. We want the piston to stay extended. So that's an idea of how we could do this. Confirmed that it does detect growth. It will trigger a piston. So we do get an output if every time this grows. So that's good. Then it's just a matter of how do we want to set this up, and will it work with just monitoring 3 like this, or should we do it differently? That I don't know. One of the things I'm not sure is like how to go about pushing them all. This is what I think makes it kind of tricky. Is how do you lay out pistons and things to take them out. One thing I might try, and I think I saw, oh, who was it? I think it might have been Doc M77. And I like the approach he did. And basically had flying machines that would go fly across. And at this, you'd have like flying machine go at this height, almost like a cutter. Now, some of this might not be the best one for it, like the geode. If you have ones that are like here's good because it would wipe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like you could send a flying machine into this space, into this space, this space, this space, this space. So the only ones you wouldn't be able to hit are the 2 back there that would be blocked. So you wouldn't get 100%, but I don't think you ever... Trying to set up pistons, I won't get 100% either. Like I can push this one off. This one I could maybe push that way. And then this one I could probably push... Can I get a hitbox? That way. So you might be able to get some. But if this one pushes, it's going to land here. So that would just despawn. If I put a piston there, I'm blocking that one. So I think we're going to compromise anyway. So then it's just a matter of how do we want to do it. That's not too complicated or frustrating. And recognizing that we have more than one that we can use. So if we can get something set up relatively easy that we can replicate, that would be good. Side note, I did dig out at the end there after recording. I did include some of it. Yeah, I kind of dug out the rest of the blocks over there. So let's just wander over there for a little bit of a break from what we're doing. And I didn't redo any of the pipes, but I did play around with maybe using copper. And I like that we have different stages of copper, so that might be interesting. And none of this stuff is waxed at the moment, so we could play around with detailing it that way. Now, all of it made out of copper might be a lot, and I don't have that much copper, so I will have to go get some. But we could use it more as an accent. Combine copper with something else. My inclination is the deep stone? No. What's it called? Deep slate. Always looks nice with this. But we might be able to couple it with a lighter color so the pipes aren't too dark. But, yeah. So that's an option. But I did, dig it all out just so I could get a better look and feel for how it will all look when things are floating. As the deep slate provides a decently dark background, so it's non-distracting. Something I would like to test is, does it matter which way you push it? Like, can we crush it and still get the crystals? If I had a piston right here and fire into it. Now, I've laid these out because I have a hard time telling the difference between this and this. So this is quite bigger. If I look at that one, yeah, like from this distance, is that this one or this one? Are there any other significant? Okay, if we look at the tip, that might be a better indication to me. Okay, white, white, diagonal, white, white. This one only has one white, and then it goes pink. So that tells me this is not the largest one. That's a bud. It's a bud. It's a bud. Ah, figured it out. Well, anyway, other than just being more obvious. That one is a large one. By large one, I mean a crystal, not a large one. The third one is called large. A large bud. This one is just called cluster. Okay, so let's see. We do this, and I break it. Darn, I was hoping that would work. Yes. Did. They went flying, but it did harvest. Excuse me. So I think what I'm going to do is just set up something for now. Get something working. And then we'll worry about making it better later. I would like to try different ones, so maybe at each one we'll try a different concept. So this one I'm going to see if this is even liable, like, is that the right word? Like, my worry is we'll be waiting longer than we need to. If I monitor too many of them, I think it's just a bunch of randomness to it. Another way is if I monitor, let's say, 5 of them, but we harvest once 3 out of the 5 are mature. So we're not waiting for everything to be ready to harvest. We're just banking on the fact that some of it will be ready to harvest, and there's probably a sweet spot in terms of like efficiency or when to do it. Waiting too long, you're missing out on some harvests that you would otherwise get. If you harvested more frequently, you'd get maybe less yield, but because you're doing it more often, overall you'd get more of these shards. But I'm just going to set up something. I'm going to use these top ones as our monitoring ones. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. And I think I'll just do that. We'll just monitor 3 for now, and I'll set up those dropper combination things I did. Hook them up, and then I'll trigger the pistons. Try to figure out how to wire all that up too. I hear you. Well, I think I got something working. It's been a day. Came back to this. I haven't hooked up every crystal. Just kind of got some of them. And I don't know if there's a nice, elegant way of doing it. So I've just got wire going everywhere. It's a bit of a mess. What I could say is all the pistons share a single branching path of redstone with no repeaters, so that they all go off at the same time and they all retract at the same time. I've got that system I showed you. Except I've added in a 5th item. The 5th item is we got the 4 stages of growth. that the observers will detect, but they'll also detect the piston moving. I don't need to detect... It's okay if it detects when the piston fires, because the system will be kind of operating, I guess. I don't know how to... But, but it will detect when it retracts, and that means that it will move one item. Now, there might have been a way to avoid that, but this was just a simple solution that just accommodates for it. So it'll first detect the piston, and then the next 4 are for the crystal growths. And I can simulate this by hitting these buttons. So that would be that one. My stereo speakers are on, so you might be getting some sound from my microphone, and there we go, fixed it. Okay, so now we're in a state where, let's say these 2 crystals are fully grown, and this one is at the 3rd stage. So one more growth and it will detect it. And then what should happen is the pistons will fire. So these are all on essentially an AND gate. If any one of them is on, it will turn this torch off. It's like an AND and NOT gate. I don't know. This will go into a little bit of a pulse lengthener right here with the comparator set up. And this will feed in 2 different directions. First one to power on is the pistons. I got a little bit of a ABBA switch, so this will go off first, and then this will get powered, and then this will depower first, and then that will depower. Well, how necessary that is? The intention... So this unlocks the hoppers to allow them to drain back. So I wanted this to be reset before the pistons go, so that they'd be ready for the observers again. But this is where we probably could have wired it differently, where if I change the order, maybe it would operate such that we wouldn't need that 5th item in there. But anyway, let's go ahead and do it. And the pulse lengthener is there just to give enough time for these to drain out fully. But then one already gets moved back as soon as those pistons fire. What I might try is just remove the ABBA switch and just see how it works without it. Here we go. Works the same, so that's not necessary. Good to know. We could see it was at 5 for a second there, and then the observers detected. And the only way I think we could probably prevent that is to leave this off long enough, a little bit longer, so that when the observers detect the pistons, this is still draining. So I could try to set that up to see. That's where I think the ABBA is needed, but maybe I did it the wrong way around. I think I did have it backwards, so that might be why. Let's try. So this time, what we're looking for is for 5 to be left in the dropper. Still detected it, and still triggered it. Which means this wasn't unlocked long enough. How can I delay that differently? Other than adding in more delay there. Maybe 4 ticks isn't enough. That works. However, thinking back to what I think I said the other day or earlier in the video, one thing we want to be careful with is maybe a crystal can grow. I don't know what the minimal time for crystal growth is. Could probably look that up. But I think I like it better the other way, where it does detect the piston retracting. Because here it could detect the piston retracting, and then maybe there's time for it to detect a growth stage as well. So the item gets moved, but this is still powered off, so then it goes back in, and then we're kind of, it locks itself up. It won't work properly. So I think I'm going to put it back how it was. Yeah, let's go with that. And this could still probably fail. I'm not sure. Again, I don't know how these work, so this will be kind of a bit of an experiment. This one looks like we could probably easily maybe add a piston to that one. So that's what I might do, is just continue to add on some crystals. But meanwhile, I've been fortuning them anytime I see them, so we can maximize. And there will, of course, be ones I can't collect. With pistons, I mean. Some of these lower ones, so what I'm trying to avoid is where one piston will push onto another area. However, I might be able to get around that by adding some delay into these pistons, so that this one fires first, so the crystals should land like on it, and then the next pistons will push them off. It might work if we want to try to maximize how many of these we can harvest. Okay, so I put them, I don't know if 8 ticks is too much or not enough, but that's enough for that one to harvest and drop the crystal, and then these 3 pistons should push. I'm not sure how to wire these two. Since this spot won't be harvestable really, I might be able to just power into this block, which will directly power that one, and Bud power that one. And then, although I think you can just run redstone on top of pistons now, can't we? So we may not have to do it that way. Yeah. And since these don't require a delay, I can probably wire it this way. I mean, the wiring of this is so spaghetti-like. I think that'll work. Positive? Yeah, looks like the wire is going down that way. So it should... Oh, now it won't power this one, though, maybe. I did that. Oh, and this crystal will land right on that block, which is a no good. What's the purpose of this piston? Or did I just break a crystal and not notice? Okay. Well, I don't know if I can power that without blocking something. So some of these we may just not... At least I can't do it that way. Maybe better to do it from the side. And then this will fall onto there. But maybe we could put another piston here. That will fire afterwards. Oh, just kidding. I don't see a nice way of doing this. It's hard to make it, like, elegant, I think I mentioned. I don't think we can put a repeater on there anymore, so I'll have to rewire things. But we want this one to be on a delay as well. So maybe we can power it there and bring the signal down and put the delay here. And maybe change this to a full block. Again, I don't know how much delay I want or need, but let's put too much for now. Okay. I think. I have no idea. I have to fire them all to see, but every time I do that, it resets all the growths. So I would like to wait and see if this thing is actually working. So I haven't fired the pistons since I showed you. So let's see where we're at. Has any been detected yet? No growth there. And no growth there. I assume they will grow. That would be a flaw. I'm going to harvest that one myself. So it can't be harvested anyway. Gimme. I want. Well, I'm going to keep playing around. I'll bring you back if something grows. Proof of function. I don't think anything's happened yet, but they're growing, so that's a good sign. So this is at stage 2, and this is at stage 1, I think. Yes, that's 1. That is 2. So let's see if these have properly been updated. 2 stage, 1 stage. Perfect. And this one should still be at 4. Okay, it looks like it should work. In the meantime, I just went down and I started harvesting this other one manually and exposing as many of the sides as I could so that we can go in there and harvest with fortune. Well, it looks like it's almost ready. Let's take a look. See if this is good. Like, should we harvest it early or should we let it continue to grow? It looks like a lot of them are fully grown. Maybe majority by the looks of it, but I'm not really calculating or counting. This one's completely ready. No, that one's not quite. So it's... yeah, that one hasn't grown. So it's a bit of randomness to it. I don't know if there's... I assume they don't need light to grow, but maybe they do. So it does look like it might be a good time to harvest versus waiting till everything is complete. Which makes me think, yeah, because we're waiting on this one. So it'd have to grow 4 times. Oh, just grew once. Great. I could change the system. I could observe actually more. Like maybe we observe these 2 as well. And then we do what we talked about, have it like a bit of an and or gate type thing, where maybe only 3 out of the 5 have to be on to create an output. I'd have to think about how to create that circuit though, but it should be possible. And that way we don't need all of them, but they would still all reset properly. But I am getting impatient. So let's artificially trigger this thing. Let me make sure it's empty down below, just to see what we get. Oops. Aw. Now I'm over here. Okay, I think it's empty. Yeah. Okay, it's flat there. I've noticed something different with ender pearls. And I think it's because of velocity in the game now. Like, if you are moving when you throw an ender pearl, it affects the ender pearl. That never used to be. While I was waiting, I showed a bit of me just playing around with that tubes piping, I guess, to see what might be a good look. I'm not quite sure. I think I might try changing out the andesite for quartz. Then they'd be very bright pipes. Might look kind of a bit more industrial, a bit more like clean. I don't know. But anyway, let's see. I don't have any on me. Nope. So let's trigger this. Okay. So a problem happened here. Now we could probably solve that by putting a block there. This one's on a delay, but doesn't seem to have mattered. I didn't see where this one fell from, so that didn't get collected. These aren't being collected anyway, so we couldn't get them. Okay. Anything else? Oh, picked up something else. So it could squish and then like pop it up top, so I should try to block things in wherever. Oops, no, not there. We want that as a pushing. We could get rid of that. Just kind of try to control where they go. This one looks okay. That's already grown. It's already grown. And then a whole bunch of crystals that we can tell aren't. Oh. And there's a piston there that's not hooked up to anything, so we should probably just get rid of it anyway. Looks like I was going to wire it up, but I didn't know how. Alright, I won't fortune any until we take a look at what we got. $6 and 32. Okay, and 8 if we count the ones that fell. I mean, definitely get way more fortuning. But it depends if this would be running all the time. If it would yield decent results. And maybe if I could connect a few more pistons. Or make it fire more more often. Oh, there's another one here. So another option is actually just to destroy these ones that are possibly in the way, like this falls right on top, but I could also probably do something with like water. Let me test something out. Okay, so we can waterlog. It's a matter of how to do that well. Like, I don't know if that would yield... You'd still have stuff fall on top. So I might need to create some, like, water channels first that move things around. And then don't disrupt the streams below as well. But that's an option. We can look at doing that later. I'm going to wrap things up and do some fortuning. Try not to break anything, which I feel like I probably will. I shouldn't use this pick. Already broken ones in the other places. I think I broke one there. I broke two and another one. But I'm still doing it. If I aim just right, so that I won't hit a crystal if I go through. That one's not ready anyway. Alright, but yeah, I'll wrap it up. So, thanks for hanging out, and hope you enjoyed. I'll keep picking away at things, bring you in when I feel it's appropriate to do so. Bye. You get shards from ones that aren't fully grown. Negative. And glass is... okay. Four for two. 2 shards per glass.